Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that is quite literally rewriting the rulebook for open-weight artificial intelligence, Moonshot AI's Kimi K3. We're going to explore exactly how this system was built, how it stacks up against the absolute giants of the industry, and ultimately, what it signals for the global future of AI.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a staggering number, 2.8 trillion. We are talking about a 2.8 trillion parameter model here. To put that into perspective for you, this makes K3 the largest open-source AI ever released to the global developer community. It is officially the world's first open 3 trillion class model.
And it pairs that immense scale with a 1 million token context window. Now that's not just a flashy spec sheet number either. Evaluations show it maintains a massive 90.4% accuracy score across that entire span. Think about it. You can feed it the equivalent of roughly 1,500 pages of dense documentation or code, and it retains an incredibly sharp memory from the very first page to the last.
Section 1. Meet Kimi K3, the world's first open 3T class model.
As the developers at Moonshot AI put it, this system is a flagship open-weight reasoning model designed for frontier intelligence across long-horizon coding, knowledge work, and reasoning. That phrase right there, long horizon, is absolutely key. This isn't just about answering a quick trivia question, right? It's built for complex agentic tasks. You give the AI a high-level goal, and it works independently, searching, coding, verifying, and correcting itself over an extended period. Think of it less like a search engine and more like a tireless digital intern.
Section 2. Under the hood, the architecture of scale.
So, Moonshot reports a roughly 2.5 times improvement in scaling efficiency over their previous K2 model. But how do you actually manage 2.8 trillion parameters without entirely breaking your compute budget? Well, the answer starts with a mixture of experts' architecture. To handle its massive size, K3 uses a stable, latent MoE framework. It's kind of like a massive team of specialists. Out of a total pool of 896 routed experts, K3 efficiently activates just 16 at a time for any given task. So you get the vast knowledge capacity of a giant model, but with the processing speed and efficiency of a much smaller one.
To make all this work, Moonshot introduced something called Kimi Delta Attention, or KDA. Because when you're trying to process 1 million tokens, standard memory mechanisms usually just grind to a halt. The memory requirements grow exponentially. KDA is a hybrid linear attention mechanism specifically designed to efficiently manage that massive flow of information across long sequence lengths without crashing the whole system. It's actually a really clever compromise. Standard attention mechanisms have a massive memory footprint over long sequences. K3 balances this by using those highly efficient KDA layers for general sequence mixing, but then it periodically inserts gated MLA layers. This hybrid approach lets it preserve deep global token interactions, the really deep thinking, without completely breaking the memory bank.
But there is a catch to all this brainpower. As Deep Infra noted during their analysis, K3 generated an incredible 130 million output tokens during its evaluation runs. This reflects its verbose, always-on chain-of-thought reasoning. Because K3 always defaults to maximum thinking effort, it processes problems deeply, continuously reasoning out loud before giving an answer. Basically, it's the ultimate overthinker. That thoroughness is super powerful, but as we're going to see in a second, it definitely comes with a cost.
Section 3. Beating the benchmarks. The scorecard.
So how does it actually perform? On the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, which is a composite benchmark evaluating reasoning, coding, and knowledge, K3 lands a very close fourth at 57. It's right on the heels of the closed frontier models, like Claude Fable 5 at roughly 60 and GPT 5.6 Sol at 59. Being this close to the top as an open-weight model is a massive achievement.
But coding is where it truly flexes its muscles. K3 isn't just a runner-up here. It claims the absolute #1 spot on the front-end code arena, beating out both Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Sol. Plus, it posted the strongest open-weight GPQA Diamond result to date, at 93.5%, proving its serious reasoning chops.
And the model isn't just answering multiple-choice questions. It's autonomously doing the work of senior engineers. In documented tests, K3 literally built a GPU compiler from scratch. In another single 48-hour autonomous run, it designed, optimized, and verified an entire chip.
And in scientific research, it autonomously bridged literature and code to reproduce complex astrophysics research in just 2 hours, a task that would normally take a human researcher up to 2 weeks, done in 2 hours. Just imagine putting that kind of autonomous capability to work in your own development pipelines.
Section 4. The real cost. Pricing a frontier giant.
So at first glance, K3 is definitely not the budget open source option you might be expecting. The raw API pricing looks more like a premium mid-tier Western model. You're looking at $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. And remember that always-on reasoning we were just talking about? Yeah, all of those internal thoughts are billed as output at that $15 rate.
But, as Easel AI pointed out in their pricing breakdown, looking only at the sticker price is kind of an illusion, especially if you're doing long-horizon tasks.
Because the crucial point here is the cash hit. If you hit the cash, it drops the input price all the way down to just 30 cents per million tokens. That is a 90% discount, and that discount applies evenly across the entire 1 million context window.
Which completely changes the math. With a typical ratio of cached inputs to outputs, your blended rate drops to roughly $2.31 per million tokens. This means for repetitive agentic workflows, long documents, or coding environments where you pass the exact same context over and over again, K3 is surprisingly cost-efficient per task. Sure, it's about 21 times more expensive on raw output than ultra-budget models like DeepSeek V4 Flash, but for complex tasks that actually require deep reasoning, that cash discount makes this frontier giant incredibly viable.
Section 5. China's AI strategy. The big picture. Let's zoom out for a second, because according to Hugging Face, Chinese-developed models now account for a staggering 41% of global open-source AI downloads. The top 6 most called large language models worldwide are currently developed by Chinese teams. In fact, cumulative downloads of Chinese open-source AI models have exceeded 10 billion worldwide. 10 billion! This isn't just a passing trend, it's a massive geographic shift in where the foundational tools of AI are actually being built and distributed. And this rapid open-source growth isn't happening in a vacuum. It directly supports broader government policies, like the AI Plus Manufacturing Initiative. The goal here isn't just to build cool chatbots, it's to promote deep AI application by 2027, build 100 high-quality industrial datasets, and expand AI across 500 real-world industrial scenarios. With China now holding 60% of the world's AI patents, this open-source strategy is fundamentally lowering the barrier to entry for traditional sectors. We're talking about energy, machinery, and manufacturing businesses being able to download these massive, highly capable models and build completely customized AI applications. Businesses don't have to endlessly rent their intelligence from a handful of closed-source tech giants anymore. They can now own and run it themselves.
So as models like Kimi K3 step up and directly match the capabilities of closed-source giants across coding, reasoning, and massive context windows, we have to ask a much bigger question. Will open-source models fundamentally shift the balance of power in the global race for AI sovereignty? It's an absolutely fascinating landscape, and the release of Kimi K3 proves the frontier is wider and more open than ever. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on the open-source space.